Hi everyone, Ashish Kyal here. Hi all, Ashish Kyal here. It's fantastic to connect with all of you on this Friday at 4. It's lovely and it's amazing. आज हम बात करेंगे what is happening with Nifty and what's going on. Someone is writing it's forming inverted head and shoulder pattern. A head and shoulder pattern is valid only if we see a reversal happening, which is yet to be awaited in this current down move which is going on. And I am doing fantastic. Shubham, Dr. Shausen, fantastic. Nalini, आप सभी यहाँ पर है. इट्स लवली टू बी हैविंग ऑल ऑफ यू ओवर हियर. एंड आज बात करने वाले मार्केट्स की. अगर अभी हुआ क्या देखते हैं ये 2 दिन में मार्केट्स क्या हुआ है एंड इज इट गोइंग टू कंटिन्यू द डाउन मूव. कल के दिन में हमने 300 पॉइंट का फॉल देखा, वापस एक सेल ऑफ कंटिन्यूड है. तो यस, द सेलिंग प्रेशर इज देयर. Nifty had a very important support of 23,130 levels, which is also broken in the morning itself. If we check, 23,130 was broken and post that the selling continued throughout the day. There is not a single hourly candle that has closed above the prior day high or prior hour high. Also, the daily biases continue to be bearish. So there is no reversal that we have got now yet. So we have been looking at 23,320, 23,350 is the level above which Nifty should stabilize and can start the upwave. But it did not reach that. Rather, it broke the lower side of the range 23,130, और वो lower range break होने के बाद में the selling pressure continued. In this kind of a market scenario, the overall short-term trend is on the sell side. There is no reversal that has happened. I'm going to talk to you about from the 2 time frame perspective. One time frame is from a bigger time frame perspective, and the next time frame is a short-term trading perspective. So from a bigger time frame perspective, my observation over the decades is that the worst of the news when it comes, I mean, सारी चीजें bearish, negative, pessimistic होती है. That's the time market forms a medium term to long term lows. This does not mean कि आप कल से buy करो. This means that we might be in that cycle of forming or bottoming out, or those kind of cycle might be ongoing. We do not know yet. We have to wait for that cycle to complete, and we have to look at price action over weekly time frame. Then the other time frame comes is the short term trading time frame. In the short term trading time frame, yes, there is no pullback, there is no close above prior day high, so the overall trend has continued to be on the downside over past 8 to 9 days. So एक भी बार क्लोज प्रीवियस हाई के ऊपर नहीं किया. अभी इसका कारण आप ट्रम्प को बोल सकते हो, इसका कारण कुछ भी हो सकता है, लेकिन प्राइस एक्शन देखना है हमें. वी डोंट वांट टू रिलाई ऑन द न्यूज, what is coming out, what is the event happening. कल आके फार्मा पे क्या होगा, because the stocks across the space has collapsed, including pharma, including metals. Look at what happened with Hindalco, look at all of those stocks. So सब जगह सेलिंग था. बैंकिंग को छोड़ के, बैंक एक्स और बैंक निफ्टी was still positive. So बैंक को छोड़ के फिर भी सेल ऑफ था. In this kind of a market, do not try to catch a low, but at the same time you have to look at, is the risk reward favoring for any kind of a reversal trade setup or not. So let me go on the chart very quickly, and we will look at from the chart. Before I move on to the chart, guys, are you doing well? Are you doing fantastic? Are you doing good? Or are you just too burdened because of the market movement? It's going to be very interesting market movement. Market ऊपर जाए या नीचे जाए, you should do well. It does not matter whether the market goes down or up. You should do well because there is opportunity every other day. आज नहीं तो कल मिलेगी opportunity, and it does not matter. Okay, it is very important. You have to be on the right side of the trend. Trend is your friend. Weekly sell में है, daily sell में है, hourly sell में है. तो trend तो sell में है, वो पता चलता है हमें. Let me go up on the chart and let me look at those levels. और level भी अगर मैं बात करूं तो बहुत clearly मैंने मॉर्निंग के ट्वीट में भी मेंशन किया था, एक रेंज में है. 23,130 के नीचे सेलिंग प्रेशर है. 23,350, 330 ब्रेक करना जरूरी है ऊपर जाने के लिए. ऊपर नहीं गया, लो ब्रेक किया, और सेलिंग प्रेशर अभी फिलहाल ऑनगोइंग है. सो लेट अस लुक एट इंपॉर्टेंट लोज इन द पास्ट हिस्ट्री. कहां बने थे और वो इंपॉर्टेंट लोज के बेसिस पे हम कैसे देख सकते हैं मार्केट का नेक्स्ट मूवमेंट कैसे हो सकता है. सो आई एम गोइंग टू शेयर अक्रॉस अ चार्ट वेरी क्विकली. लेट मी गो अप ऑन माय चार्ट ऑन माय screen here. It's fantastic to see you, Rohit, also here. Nifty closed at the gear level of 22,876. Absolutely, it has been fabulous. So let me open up my Gann square of 9 chart right now, and we want to look at, is it time to buy or is it time to sell? Let us just look at chart very objectively, and let us just try to figure out what's happening around these zones. So let me just share my screen and we are going to look at Gan levels यहाँ पर. Okay, and before that also you can join my WhatsApp community. यहाँ पर है, यहाँ पर आप ज्वाइन कर सकते हैं. एक व्हाट्सएप कम्युनिटी हमारा है, अगर ज्वाइन कर लिया तो एक थम्स अप दे दीजिए मुझे यहाँ पर वेरी क्विकली. So if I look at this Gann square of 9 chart, let us just understand what's happening around. Nifty formed a low here, found support around 22,276, sharp up move, यहां से सीधा ऊपर गया 23,486 was the level. Then it broke below 23,486 with a big candle, consolidated, broke down 20 फिलहाल 22,876 22,877 के पास में, which is the next Gann support level. So Nifty Gann level is at 22,877 and price is closed exactly near that level. This does not mean you have to buy, but keep a close watch in case of a reversal price action from this zone. ब्रेक, अगर ब्रेक हो गया नीचे का लेवल, यहां पर हमें वो ध्यान रखना है. यहां पर अगर आपको ब्रेक हो जाता है 22,877 लेवल, which means the selling pressure will continue. So do not try to catch a low here. That is for sure. Also from this perspective, if you look at it, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 ट्रेडिंग सेशंस निफ्टी ने अभी तक प्रीवियस हाई के ऊपर बंद नहीं किया. अगर आप मुझे एक बात बताइए, जो शॉर्ट वीडियोस मैं बना रहा हूं, इज इट हेल्पिंग यू टू टेक अ मच बेटर ट्रेडिंग डिसीजन और नॉट? मतलब आपको व्यू मिल रहा है, सीखने मिल रहा है, सारी चीज जो मैं ट्विटर पे यूट्यूब पे डाल रहा हूँ, दो शॉर्ट videos are, is that useful? And I'm just presenting my views there. I can be wrong. I do not guarantee any 100% success. It's a science of probability and you have to trade on the basis of that. ठीक है? So बहुत important. Okay, I can see जितेश, सुकुमार, सतीश, बहुत सारे जने जो कह रहे हैं ये short videos are like missile. Okay. That is Rasika, glad to see you also here. Fantastic. So ठीक है, तो it means short videos are helping. दूसरी चीज, बहुत सारे जन कह रहे हैं ये इन्वर्टेड हेड एंड शोल्डर पैटर्न है, विच आई एग्री टू. इट लुक्स लाइक अ इन्वर्टेड हेड एंड शोल्डर पैटर्न. दिस इज द नेक लाइन, दिस इज द शोल्डर, दिस इज द हेड, बट दिस इज स्टिल नॉट द शोल्डर, क्योंकि ये अभी ऑन गोइंग है. आपको नहीं पता, मुझे नहीं पता कि यहां से मार्केट अगर इस हाई के ऊपर बंद हो जाएगा, then I can say that yes, this is going to be a reversal move on the upside. So 23,214 है लेवल, दूर है, लेकिन उसके ऊपर जाना इंपॉर्टेंट है निफ्टी को. So 23,214 के ऊपर अगर निफ्टी जाएगा, then I can say this is forming a inverted head and shoulder pattern. अगर 23,214 के ऊपर नहीं जाएगा तो जाने दीजिए, इसे जहां जाना है नीचे, it's okay. So it's very important कि market has to go about 23,214. Secondly, if in the coming week Nifty closes below this zone, मतलब 23,870 के नीचे hourly close या daily close हो जाता है, तो this can be a risky market. Then the other possibilities will start opening up. Right now we are at a very very important inflection zone. ये है Gann के हिसाब से. Now we will be looking at this Gann square of 9 in much detailed fashion कि इसे ट्रेड कैसे करना है, क्लब कैसे करना है in tomorrow and day after tomorrow. काल चक्र का जो सेशन है 5-6 अप्रैल को हमारा in time cycles we'll be looking at it कि Gann levels को कैसे derive करना है. But those are going to be on the past historical charts, not on the latest chart. I am again repeating. Now from here, if I go on to the next neo wave concept and try to look at what's happening on the wave perspective कि neo wave के हिसाब से कहां पर हम हैं फिलहाल के लिए. Let me see if it is not opening. There is some, one second, I'll just check. Okay, here we are on the daily time frame chart. On the daily time frame chart, if I'm checking the overall movement, okay, that's the overall movement that we can clearly see, which happened from the top here, 26,277. From 26,277, markets continue to collapse sharply on the downside. Do you know what is the worst of the news that has come out at this point of time? Anyone remembers any of the news, any of the event which was coming around this zone, which when the mark Nifty was around 22,490, 22,100, around that area? किसी को याद है कोई news event which was the worst news that was coming around when the markets were falling and it was on the downside, and then Nifty slowly started reversing back on the upside. So the fear which started building up at that point of time was trade war, recession, slowdown in US, Trump issues. Exactly. It started from there. It started from there. And then prices still rallied. Okay? Now, whatever the words that you dreamed of, face the fear. This is the fear that markets were looking at, the anxiety. Market is always anxious when the results are not out, when the policy is not out, when what's going to happen is question mark. That's when the markets fear. Now that it's out, the pharma sector already discounting it because of the hint. Maybe he doesn't want to do anything with pharma, but that's the hint. So market discounted. 26%, 27% tariff done. Market may priced in it. So what has been priced in is the news that has come out is now pricing in. And that's why we are seeing a huge sell-off over the past 2 days of time is what I can say. Past 3 days of time rather. Now, this will result into some kind of a volatility, short-term volatility. But if you'll observe the major lows that have been formed in the past history, if you look at the history, that's the best way to learn. If you look at this history, this is where the election outcome happened and the major low happened and price reversed back on the upside. If you look at the other history, if you go and check the history and how price have been behaving in those instances, you will see these are the areas when the worst of the news have come out. This is the area when the GDP figures were bad and a lot of negativity was going on and Nifty was consolidating. One such area was this specific rise, which I found it very interesting. I'm going to go back to that chart. I think that chart I remember distinctly because that was the time where I was trading very aggressively and prices behaved very interestingly from that point of time. Is the chart. I'm just trying to search for that one chart from the history. Yeah, this one. This area looks very similar to the current price action, but on a smaller degree, which is known as a fractal nature of the market. Okay, fractal nature of the market. Fractal nature मतलब जो यहाँ पर हुआ similar behavior है. What was the behavior here? There was a systematic sell-off which continued to happen all the way, and I distinctly remember because I traded that behavior. This and that sell-off did not take out the prior high at any point of time. Okay, the prior high was not taken out at any point of time until this rise. This rise took out the prior fall in faster time, which indicated something major got completed from a medium-term perspective. Okay, the problem that happened is the short term and the medium term. When I say medium term, does not mean markets will reverse tomorrow. Medium term means over the period of time we might be in the bottoming phase. But short term means फिलहाल pressure में. Are you understanding? यहाँ पर very clearly, if you look at it, this was the rise which took out the entire move, and this was in 2012. Remember, I remember it very distinctly. And then the market just collapsed and kept on moving lower. Now, if I compare this with the current scenario, and this retraced 76.4%, I remember it that well. If I come to the latest chart and look at that scenario, it's very similar to that pattern, similar but on a shorter time frame. I mean, on a shorter squeezed out movement, fractal nature. It was on a bigger number of months. This is on a shorter number of months. So if I look out that and this chart, suppose if I remove this and if I connect the trend line again, the entire trend line, can you see the similarity? If I connect this entire trend line, you will see the entire move was making a lower high, lower low pattern constantly. Okay. Now, right now, this is for the first time. This is for the first time that price took out this high and that too in faster time, which means this definitely looks like a bottoming phase where price have completed a move here and now we are retracing. So I was expecting it to be an impulse rise with a 1, 2, third and fourth wave which still is open क्योंकि rules invalidate नहीं हुआ, which still is open, and the fifth will come on the upside. The other alternate possibility because of this fall that has happened is this rise was say wave A, not a bigger, just a second, is wave A here. Instead of an impulse, it become a corrective rise, and we are right now in wave B, which is ongoing. And then the C will come, which will be much higher. And the date is 16th of April, which still works. So 23,800 in ideal case scenario shouldn't have been taken out. Prices still did not close about 23,800 levels. Still did not close about 23,800 level. It still did not do that until the time is in. But it whipsawed there. Now that gave me a very vital information that the whipsaw which happened there was because there is a bigger 85-week cycle. Okay, the bigger 85-week cycle, which resulted into prices moving. This is the bigger 85-week cycle, which resulted into prices moving on the upside. Now that's very interesting sign. That's why I think that I can be wrong. That's why I think this can be looking at the historical chart, looking at the fractal nature of 2012. I think this can be the a rise. This is a retracement to that rise, which can go to the extent of 76.4%. At max, 80% is what I think. That's the max retracement I'm expecting. If it beyond that, then something is different. Then this becomes an X wave. This will be like a 76.4 will come to around the level of. Why 76.4? Because it works most of the time in Indian market. Works fantastic. Let me just. Now something is wrong with TradingView, it seems. My click, I'm not able to edit it either. Oh, that's weird. I wanted to put a 76.4%. Okay. Let me try and again double click. Something is weird. It's not allowing me to double click here. Yeah, it's not working like we expect. Let me just again try this thing. So if I look at the fib retracement of this, I want to check the 76.4% level. जाने तो नहीं आ रहे तो manually calculate करके देख लेते. The 76.4% from the low here. Can someone tell me if you are fast in mathematics? Is it's not working. It's not working. Okay, and I can edit it from here. The settings. No, the settings are still not opening. So if I look at it, I am assuming 76.4 will come somewhere around the zone of 61.8 will come here, 22,678 and 76.4 will come around 22,400 types is what I'm assuming. So 22,400 is the 350, 400 is the worst case scenario. 76.4% is what I'm saying. That's my worst case scenario. That's where prices can come and bottom out. Comparing it with 2012 type of a movement resembling that. That's where I think. Right now, there is a short-term pressure. That's what the overall view is suggesting. Now, in this kind of a movement, my timeline of 16th April is still there, which means we have entered into the zone of 16th April, which is a 55-day cycle and which has worked brilliantly well on most of the occasions, including the low formed on the election period time, including the low formed here, the low formed a little late here, the low formed here, and we are right now entering in that zone again. So that's the zone. In this kind of a crash, the low was formed at this point of time. This low was formed after the mid-range. This was formed after the mid-range. This was formed on the mid-range. We might form a low around this area. So ज़्यादा time भी नहीं है. How? Because in next 10 days, there is hardly any trading sessions also left. So this is trading cycle. 55 days trading cycle is what I can see. So यहाँ पर overall जो movement है from a medium term perspective, once I see a positive price action reversal, I will start accumulating the stocks that I always wanted to. If I see a positive price action reversal. If I do not see any positive price action reversal, I might be using short-term pullbacks as a selling opportunity. So Do not get confused with two different time frames. One time frame I'm accumulating stocks, the other time frame I'm simply selling because my weekly trend, my daily trend, my hourly trends are bearish. And that's how I'm looking at the market. If I go on 1 hour time frame chart, this is a very sharp up move, very sharp up move. And price are retracing this on the faster move on the downside, but it has still not retraced it completely. So what I'm seeing here is a very systematic sell-off which is currently ongoing, to be very honest. क्योंकि हो क्या रहा है, मार्केट इतने से पीरियड में एक बड़ा कैंडल बनाता है, डन. So there is just one candle of sell-off and then rest of the part is done. Now for option trader, this is not a good thing for trading. This is not a good market for option buyers, especially. Kalpesh, thanks for the exact number, 22,376. Yeah, that's what I thought. 22,400 के पास में. Because in this kind of a market, the opportunity to buy put option is also very less. अगर मुझे put भी buy करना है, the opportunity I'm getting is not much. The opportunity is very less because it just goes in one single candle and then nothing happens throughout the day. और उस कारण से put options will deteriorate. Especially आज किसी ने भी अगर out of the money put option को observe किया होगा, did you see the option price simply collapsed after the opening hour? Anyone observed that? Put it on the chat, put it on the comment if you observed it. जो option price था simply collapsed after 10:15, 10:30 के बाद में मार्केट गिर रहा है यार, लेकिन ऑप्शन भी गिर रहा है, पुट ऑप्शन, बिकॉज IVs, which is known as implied volatility. Implied volatility moved from the levels of around 22, 24 to the low of 19, moved from 19 to the low of 15, which means the entire volatility started squeezing and coming down. तो ऑप्शन बायर के लिए अभी IVs को देखना ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट हो गया है rather than looking at the underlying price, because that's how the behavior is happening. शुभम अग्रवाल इज मेंशनिंग सर 22,500 का पुट 28 से 16 हो गया था, मैंने सेल किया था. बिल्कुल है, एग्जैक्टली, एब्सोल्युटली. मतलब आप सोचो ना, अगर आपने सेल किया था, यहां पर मार्केट था, नीचे गया, लेकिन आपने पैसा कमाया. So that clearly shows that how the IV is playing a very, very interesting role in the entire market point. Do you want to see the IV chart by any chance? Shall I go on the IV chart? Do you want to do that? Guys, are there people who are from the tomorrow and day after Kyal Chakra session? वो लोग हैं यहाँ पर. तो if you are there from the Kyal Chakra session or Brahmastra session, at least give me a thumbs up. तो मुझे पता चले कौन कौन है यहाँ पर जो ब्रह्मास्त्र वाले या काल चक्र वाले हैं, which who are there. Okay, fantastic. So IV chart में मैं लेके चलता हूँ, where we will be looking at what's wrong with options. Okay, what's wrong with options? Why they are behaving in such a fashion where these option prices are not increasing. अगर मैंने आज पुट भी बाय किया होता है यार, पैसा नहीं बना, क्योंकि पैसा नहीं बन रहा है ऑप्शन में, ऑप्शन बिहेवियर के कारण. आपकी गलती है ही नहीं, ट्रेंड भी आपके फेवर में है, ट्रेंड इज योर फ्रेंड, लेकिन ऑप्शन बिहेवियर नहीं है आपके फेवर में. दैट्स द चैलेंज एंड दैट्स द प्रॉब्लम. सो आई गो एंड शो यू सम चार्ट्स. लेट मी गो बैक ऑन द चार्ट हियर. हुआ आपके साथ भी? ओके, बहुत सारे जने जो वही चीज कह रहे कि उनके साथ भी ऐसा ही हुआ जैसा मैं बता रहा हूं. सो डोंट वरी, यू आर नॉट अलोन इन दिस मार्केट, यू आर नॉट अलोन. Every trader is facing that challenge, including me. I'm a trader and I'm facing that challenge. So I bought the put premium but did not rise. कितने सारे जनों के साथ ऐसा हुआ. Okay, very clearly. So यहाँ पर अगर हम देखेंगे बहुत clearly, this is let me just share my screen 1 second. Okay, that's my chart. That's my option chart जो हम options मंत्र में ब्रह्मास्त्र में करते हैं डिटेल में. In this chart, if I look at the overall period of 23,000, there was a very high open interest on the call side and the put side. Interesting चीज ये है, put side पे अभी भी IV बहुत ज्यादा, IV नहीं sorry, open interest अभी भी बढ़ा हुआ है, which means they have not panicked. Oh, now that's something very interesting. They are not panicking even now when the Nifty is down. They should have panicked and there should have been a repercussions. तो वो हुआ नहीं, फिलहाल के लिए नहीं हुआ. Now if I go to an option chart of say 22,700 का एक स्ट्राइक प्राइस था मेरे पास में यहां पर, and I'm going to go on a 5-minute chart and I'm going to remove, if you look at this option chart on a 5-minute time frame, can you see the behavior of the volatility? This is an option price chart. This is implied volatility, and this over here is what you can see as a Nifty chart. ठीक है, so option behavior है, implied volatility है, and Nifty chart है. यहां पर आप बहुत clearly देख सकते हो. So Nifty behavior, Nifty option behavior is not allowing you to make money by buying options as the IV is collapsing on downside suddenly without any news, without any event, collapsing suddenly. And today as well, if you check 22,500 put options, 500 नहीं 700 वाला put options है, moved sharply lower at one point of time. मतलब ये कहां था, कहां से कहां आया, फिर ऊपर गया, लेकिन that is pure a delta play. So moved sharply lower despite of Nifty moving down. Can you see that? Despite of Nifty moving down. So what has happened is, despite of the Nifty moving down, the option price continue to collapse. Can you see that? ये option price है और ये IV है. Now what is an IV? I'll just explain you. So if you look at a Black-Scholes model, I was coding that when I was working with National Stock Exchange IT and long back 2005, 2006, I suppose. So in option pricing, there are in Black-Scholes model, 5 things comes into this. One is the interest rate, the strike price, the underlying price, the spot price, which we call it. We get the volatility. So on the right hand side and the time to decay, theta. On the left hand side, it's an option price. On the right hand side of the equation, you have time to decay, मतलब कितना दिन expiry को बाकी है. You have the volatility. What is the volatility of the market? You have the strike price, you have the spot price, and you have an interest rate. Now interest rate तो फिक्स है, वो चेंज नहीं हुआ, so that is out of question. Strike price आपने select कर लिया, which is not changing then, that's out of the question, which is 22,700. The next 3 parameter remain is theta, which is time, the underlying price, which is delta, and the volatility. So what is done is, the time to expiry is known, which means 5 days to expiry from today, so that is set. The next thing that is known is the underlying spot price. Now that is fixed. What is then done is, you take the option price, which is say 51, and you derive the volatility from that. Okay? So what happens is, आपने option को use करके volatility का price derive किया. That is known as implied volatility. Option का price is determined purely by demand and supply, nothing else. Option price is determined by demand and supply, and it is assumed the current option price is the fair value, which means 51 is the fair value for a 22,700 put option. Now with this option price, जो volatility है वो हमने निकाला. What we observed is that the volatility or implied volatility moved from 17 to 13.29. At every 1% drop in volatility, this option price will deteriorate by 3 points, 3 or 4 points. With a drop coming from 17 to nearly 13, which is a drop of 4 points, option price will deteriorate naturally by 20 points, which can be other way looked at, because the option price moved down, the implied vol moved down. That's how it is. तो implied volatility से हमें ये पता चलता है कि मार्केट कितना एंशियस है ऑप्शंस के साइड पे. everyone is keep busy looking at only the wicks of the market. I never look at the wicks of the index. That's not helping me anyways. What helps me to understand is the anxiety of the option trader. Tell me one thing. If the market is falling, will the put sellers be anxious? Are you with me? If the market is coming down, the put sellers will be anxious. If the put sellers, जिन्होंने put बेच रखा है, market गिर रहा है. If the put sellers are anxious, don't you think the volatility should come up? Because the put sellers are anxious, they will start buying put options because उन्होंने बेच रखा है. तो buy करना शुरू करेंगे. And so they will start buying the put option, which shows their anxiety. Their conviction is not there on holding their position. The problem that happened today is that the put sellers are very complacent today. They are not interested in covering their position. And that's what makes option trading challenging over past 3 months for every one of you. Because there is a very different behavior in the options, which has happened in the past also. So what we are seeing is very, very clearly, there is a different behavior that has happened in the put options, and not only put, in the call options also, and that's behaving differently. And so there is no anxiety in the 22,700 put options that people have sold, and it has come down to a volatility level which was not seen until this level of March, which is the lowest level which was seen in 18th of March. Since then, and so it's very, very interesting. Now what will happen? Given this scenario, let's come back to the chart. Now let us look at the chart. Okay, let us just come back to this chart. Is it interesting, or are you guys getting bored? Because this is something I'm just teaching you. This is supposed to be our market. I'm just teaching you how I look at things, how I look at everything. You can join the WhatsApp group. It's interesting, right? Okay, awesome. And मेरा ऐप भी है, ऐप का लिंक भी डाउनलोड करने के लिए डाल दीजिए. People can download my app also at times. Instead of WhatsApp community, we should share the app link. Now let us come to this part. Now over here, what is interesting is going to be 22,700 people have not yet panicked, which is decent 300 points out of the money. The problem right now is if Nifty gives another catch on the downside, just in case, there will be panic, because then they will be not complacent and they will have to rush to cover their position. What will happen if once they start covering their position, they will start buying aggressively put options. Once they start buying put options, not only 22,700, even 23,000 put sellers are still there in the market. They will start buying put options. If they start buying put options, the put prices will start rising. Because the put prices will start rising, the markets will go down. This is exactly the opposite in which the market should actually behave. If you look at it logically, options are derivative of Nifty. If Nifty goes down, option price should rise. That's the equation. But वैसा हो ही नहीं रहा है. Past 3 months वैसा नहीं हो रहा है. If option price starts, if implied volatility starts going up, which means the anxiety is kicking in, the option price starts increasing, which is indicating implied vol. Because option price start increasing, which means there is anxiety in the market starts coming down. This is the other way in which you should study the market if you want to make money from this market. The derivative of the product is actually responsible for the sell-off in the underlying. That's where the options, and that's why the regulators are behind curbing down the options trading big time, because that's where the problem is lying right now, not the underlying. And that's why the regulations, this expiry, the lot sizes, margins, everything is to curb down that demand supply equation to get it back on the track. If the option market comes back on the track, at that point of time, markets will stabilize, is what the assumption is. Now you get the point why regulators are not doing all that bad in terms what they want to achieve. They want to achieve a stability in an underlying derivative options market, which has gone for a toss because of whatever reason. I'm not saying in manipulation. I'm just saying the demand supply equation is just not fair enough. And so that has gone for a toss. And so many things are done to get that back on the track. And so we are seeing this kind of market behavior. So coming back to that's my options behavior. I thought मैं आपको बताता हूँ what how I see the options, how it behaves, how I look at things. This is how I look at things. I don't look at underlying and get panicked. I look at options and then I panic if there is some panic situation there. So you should start doing that. If you want to panic, look at options and panic. Not don't look at underlying and panic. What is expected from the coming week? From the coming week, फिलहाल तो ट्रेंड रिवर्स नहीं हुआ है. There is no positive traction that we have seen. We have not closed above prior day high. So sell on rise पे है market. My overall analysis historically suggests that this can be a medium term bottoming pattern, which means ये शॉर्ट टर्म अगर किसी ने सस्टेन कर दिया नेक्स्ट 1 वीक 10 डेज के लिए, अगर मार्केट ने सस्टेन किया विदाउट ब्रेकिंग below this level of 76.4%, we will then start moving up. If Nifty does not breach that level, if it does not breach that level, but अगर वो break हो गया, let it continue. Use sell on rise. Keep riding that on the downside over short term. This can be, so I'm expecting this to be wave B, which is going on. The date is 16th April. By then it should be over, is what I am thinking. So that's how things should be. That's how it has to be. Let's see how it goes from here. Any questions? I think like I gave a lot of knowledge. People would have been bored by now. It's an interesting market scenario and we are going to learn. So आज तो मैंने आपको options के बारे में बताया. Tomorrow and day after tomorrow, how many of you are in for Kal Chakra and Brahmastra session? Because we are going to do this kind of learning tomorrow and day after, but on a historical chart, on the past 3 months chart. I'm not going to look at the latest 3 months chart. I'm going to be telling you honestly. So if you are there, I'm just going to take a quick poll and I'm also taking questions if you want to be with me on this session. So director साहब यहाँ पे आपने post पे अभी भी डाल रखा है March poll में. So can you please change that at least for now? Can you do that? Meanwhile, I'm taking up the questions, or let me just launch with March. So it's April. It's not. Let me just edit it. 1 second. Let me just do that. And यहाँ पर. Okay, just a moment. And I'm open for questions, guys. Whatever questions that you require. Okay, I'm launching the poll right now here. Okay, I've done the changes and I've launched the poll. Interesting fact. Okay, Parin is there in Parin Mehta. Yes, I know you are there in Brahmastra. Explain relation between price and IV. We'll do that. We'll do that in detail later on. फिलहाल तो मैं आपको ये बोल रहा हूँ. Session on implied volatility को और डिटेल में हम देखेंगे. चार्ट पे मैं स्टॉक स्पेसिफिक बात नहीं कर रहा आज. कल्याण कह रहे हैं, आई एम सीइंग ओनली यू. नहीं, चार्ट्स देखो यार, मुझे मत देखो आप. यहाँ पर बैंक निफ्टी इज आउट परफॉर्मिंग. बाय द वे, बैंक निफ्टी ने आउट परफॉर्मेंस काफी अच्छा खासा किया है. बैंक निफ्टी इज आउट परफॉर्मिंग. एंड यहाँ पे पोल मैंने लॉन्च किया. एवरीवन पार्टिसिपेट इन द पोल एंड द लिंक प्लीज वापस से शेयर कर दीजिए इफ एनीवन वांट्स टू बी देयर विद मी on the Kal Chakra. So what we are going to do is we are going to start the session tomorrow at 10 a.m., which is 5th of April morning 10. We will be going through the theory of time cycle, of Hurst time cycle, where we are going to look at the simple theoretical aspect of what is cycles, what is standard cycles, what are actual cycles, उसके periodicity, वो सारी चीजें हम देखेंगे. Then we will move on to the practical application, but I will be going to show you on the historical chart where we will look at those things. उसके साथ हम क्लब करेंगे FLD वैली ट्रेंड लाइन के कॉन्सेप्ट्स को. Then we'll move from there to applying those Spring Special K and KST indicators को कैसे क्लब करना है over the on Sunday. We are going to do that on 6th of April. We'll be looking at that and see how historically it has worked, and we'll combine with Gann square of 9. तो ये सारी चीजों को हम एक सिस्टम बनाएंगे, एक प्रॉपर ट्रेडिंग सिस्टम बनाएंगे. And basis of this proper trading system, we are going to look at that. And see how it can help us to trade. So KST is a momentum indicator. FLD is a indicator which helps us to derive price target. Daily time frame pe FLD has been crossed. Let's see if it works this time or not. Next we are going to look at, after the FLD, we are going to look at valley trend lines. So time cycles हम 15 मिनट पे, 5 मिनट पे, daily time frame, weekly time frames पे derive करेंगे. There is something known as synchronization effect. We are going to look at that. We will derive a custom indicator. खुद का एक indicator बनाएंगे. And this can be done on a free trading view version. You don't need a paid one. And that indicator मूविंग एवरेज का पैरामीटर क्या होना चाहिए और क्यों होना चाहिए, सेंटर्ड मूविंग एवरेज क्या होता है, दीज आर ऑल टाइम साइकिल कॉन्सेप्ट्स यहाँ पर. सो यू डोंट रियली हैव टू वरी. We are going to discuss this in complete detail. So if you are also a part of Brahmastra, you will be there tomorrow and day after for the upcoming batch as a Kal Chakra and Brahmastra session. Okay, if you are not, okay, Ashok has also registered, but he's not going to able to attend. Don't worry. Recordings will be given to you any which ways for a period of 1 month. So you will have. Awesome. यहाँ पर एक क्वेश्चन है. The past 5 month high was made in the first week and low last week. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't think about it. That's a very interesting update which you have given me. Difference between Kal Chakra and Brahmastra? Kalpesh, Kal Chakra is about time cycles. Brahmastra is about risk management, money management, stock selection scanners. We look at multi-bagger momentum stocks, कैसे हमें search करने from trading perspective. Then we looked at wave theory, options in detail. How do we look at options, trading concepts, KST, super trend, ये सब combined. So it's a complete thing that I know, I explain, I teach. That's what Brahmastra is. So Kal Chakra is pure time. You can trade only on the basis of time also. Absolutely, you can do that. Okay. What is the scenario to happen for Nifty to break 21,960? No scenario. Nifty is there is no such scenario. Nifty को करना है तो करेगा. Price भाव भगवान छे. Look at that. So you have to follow the price, and right now the price has not shown any kind of reversal. So you follow that. Don't worry about it. Okay. How many percentage move upper and lower approximately? No. तो एक काम करते हैं दोस्तों, आज के लिए यहीं पे बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस मुझे आ रहे. इंटरेस्ट रेट डू यू कंसिडर इन Black-Scholes model? I've derived the entire Black-Scholes model in an Excel sheet. I did a lot of work on that and derived parametric VAR. I worked on those things. I worked on risk management for hedge funds. That's how I know. Okay. There is another question here, sir. Can I trade using only time cycle? Yes, you can. You can trade only using time cycle, so you don't really have to worry about anything else, because we will be looking at price action any which ways. Price action is a part of it. Awesome, guys. So I think आज के लिए इतना ही. Thank you very much for joining me. It's going to be interesting journey tomorrow and day after. If you want to be a part of it, I think there are some seats if left. My colleague will share it across, and you can simply click on the link and join the session. But this is pure training, pure learning. I'm not going to advise you what to buy and sell. I'm going to only teach you how to catch a, how to fly, or how to drive the Ferrari is what I can say. That's what we are doing, because price is God, time is the heartbeat of the market, and it's important that you understand both of these things, how to club it together. That's the most important thing. आज के लिए इतना ही. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful time and become a wonderful trader. Ashish Kyal signing off.